Well, at SCAN, we're always concerned about brain health, and we're always looking for ways to help you love your brain, be careful, take care of yourself. And of course, we also have a lot of yoga classes at SCAN. So what if I told you we found a very interesting way to kind of combine them for some special clients out there? I never heard of this before today, and I think you're going to find it fascinating. So stay tuned, and you're going to find out all about Love Your Brain Yoga. Stay tuned. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to SCAN FYI. So my guest today is from Encompass Health, and SCAN has a long history of collaboration with other organizations, including Encompass Health. And my special guest is Jenny Laliberte. So Jenny, thank you for being with me.
Thank you for having me, Andrea. It's a pleasure.
So, first of all, Jenny, tell us a little bit about you and then and your role at Encompass Health. Let's start with that.
Yeah. So again, thanks for having me join. My name is Jenny. I am an occupational therapist. I work full-time here at Encompass Health. I'm also an assistant in running the Love Your Brain program, which we'll get into a little bit later. And I'm also a yoga teacher, which has been really fun and enlightening, and just a kind of cool aspect to add to my role as an OT.
So here's what's interesting. I think a lot of people know what a PT is, a physical therapist, but many people may not know what an OT or an occupational therapist is. So perhaps you can first explain that.
Sure. This is the question that I think is the best in the world, because as an OT, like the first day of classes, every single professor will sit you down and say, okay, you need to get ready to explain what OT is, because I would say most people do not know. They know PT, they've heard speech therapy, but OT is really, really cool. So it is in that domain of the therapy world, but it's a little bit more specific to patients' goals. So I always like to say physical therapy is getting patients up and moving, getting, walking set and your balance and your exercise and your endurance. OT is we like to get patients and clients back to those meaningful activities. So anything that occupies your day, whether that could be getting dressed or taking a shower, it could be a little bit bigger as being able to have enough strength and endurance to make a sandwich or take your dog for a walk. And it can even be even bigger, getting out into the community, being comfortable driving if you've had a vision issue, or getting back to your job, or getting back to being able to see your grandkids. So it's kind of a bigger picture for OT. I
like how you describe it as anything that occupies your time during the day, versus what some people seem to think about. Well, this would be a way of finding out a different occupation or job.
So, I wish OT had a different word. I wish it was like meaningful activity therapy, because I'd say 99% of my task as an occupational therapist is never helping somebody get back to applying to a job. It's getting people back to doing little tasks or activities that make them feel confident, make them feel good, is a part of their role and activity throughout their life. But we do get a bad rap, because most of my patients say, Jenny, I've been retired for 25 years. You don't need to come and hang out with me. And I go, oh no, but you do so much throughout your day that we want to get you back to.
So however you occupy your time during your day, that's I'm going to remember it that way. That I like that. And now, interesting that you're also a yoga instructor.
Yeah. So, and that's been something I just spent a little bit of time with. I'm a 200-hour certified yoga instructor, which is a lot of hours learning about breathing and exercise and stretching, but it was just so enlightening for myself. I think a lot of my peers who were getting this instruction certification were just doing it for themselves versus to become a teacher, which is really cool, because, there's so much about yoga that I think a lot of people haven't explored and haven't learned about. So to go through a self journey, but also be able to share that light with others has been really special, and incorporating it into my job too has been
well, that's what I find very interesting, that you were able to incorporate it right into your job. So let's get right into that. So you are going to be facilitating a program called Love Your Brain Yoga. And Jenny is going to be facilitating this program at SCAN, and it actually starts March 1st. We'll get more into that later. But Jenny, so what is Love Your Brain Yoga?
Yes. So Love Your Brain Yoga is a specialty yoga class series that really has a focus on people who've been affected personally by a brain injury, or people who have personally themselves had that brain injury. So we like to say, if you've had a brain injury, a stroke, even a neurological disease that has affected your brain, or if you know somebody or have been a part of somebody's journey who's had a brain injury, and you might be their caregiver, you might be their friend, you might be their mother or sister. So anybody kind of be encompassed in that circle of being affected by a brain injury. And we're doing yoga classes to have this group of community come together. And it's a gentle yoga series about resilience, about community, about finding strength, especially through tough times of that brain injury journey. And it should really just be something that is exciting and new to try. I think yoga can be a little bit intimidating. People are doing back flips and front flips, and we are doing a gentle chair yoga series where we're staying seated. We'll have mats if anybody wants to do some standing poses, but really it's a very mindfulness set program working on meditation, visualization, yoga, stretching, and breathing.
Now, did I hear you say for the most part you will be seated? This will be a seated yoga?
Yeah, for the most part
Okay,
it will. And as a occupational therapist, we're basically professionals at adapting things. So
yes.
Whether somebody has a limitation or a certain type of disability, whether somebody can move in a certain way, we want this class to feel as inclusive as possible. And that's kind of the Love Your Brain kind of model, is that, yoga classes can be intimidating and that community can seem, very elite and high level, and people are really just doing crazy things with their body. But for this class, it is really about everybody is welcome, no matter how you're feeling, no matter what you look like, no matter how your body's moving, and everybody can kind of gain from this kind of gentle yoga community.
So the fact that it's seated yoga, and at SCAN, we have floor yoga and we have chair yoga, seated yoga. And I have to agree that there is a lot of apprehensive people with yoga, like I can't get down on the floor, I can't get into some of these poses. And hey, we get it. So chair yoga is very inclusive. So that should really take away all the concern about that right there. No one is going to be needing the jaws of life to, get up from the floor, because you will be seated in a chair. And also, to be perfectly clear, you are inviting folks who might have had an injury and caretakers as well. So you could take this, with your appropriate significant other caretaker person, which is awesome.
Which is wonderful. And, the class is a series that is based on adaptation. So when somebody comes, if you're in a wheelchair, or if your caregiver is, standing and being, sitting in a regular chair, we'll be able to adapt so everybody is able to meet their needs. So there's really nobody who can't come. Everybody's welcome, as long as you feel that you meet that brain injury kind of sense.
So you have a combination of yoga, you have a combination of meditation. I like that you're going to be doing a lot of different things here.
Yeah, it's a nice setup too on kind of each class is structured. So we'll be doing a 6-week series. So once a week, we'll be having this yoga class, and the beginning of the class will be a gentle meditation and an introduction on how to meditate and visualization. Then we'll move into some gentle stretching and yoga. And then we'll finish with a group discussion. And what I really love about that is, especially from doing so much yoga and learning about the benefits of yoga, after you meditate and after you do yoga and you stretch, your mind and your body is such at peace, and you're in such a good state to kind of start new things and really have a clear sense of thought. So I never realized that the purpose of yoga is really that feeling after yoga, that feeling of clarity, the feeling of peace, and really feeling focused on your wants is just a lot easier after all of the yoga. So that's what the group discussion is going to be really nice, is to kind of share our feelings, especially having a community of people or patients who've had a brain injury.
So for someone who's thinking, well, what will be the benefit to me? Why should I do this? I see what you're doing here, but what will be the direct benefit to me? So how might you answer that?
Yeah, so I think, every person should try yoga and meditation. I think it's something that seems a little daunting and scary because there's a lot of different ways and methods to do it. But as somebody who loves research and science too, as an OT in this medical field, just the physical and mental benefits of doing yoga and meditation can decrease your stress, can lower your blood pressure, can allow your body to come into this state of relaxation that you really often need throughout your day. And we'll be able to teach everybody some nice tools, especially through the stress of COVID and through the stress of healing through a brain injury, allowing some tools to make your life a little bit more meaningful and manageable and just hopeful, which is good.
And I feel like as well, there is going to be a wonderful social component here because you're going to create a community. And this program is 6 weeks. So you're going to be together for a while with obviously like-minded people, which I think is also good for your heart and soul.
Absolutely. And that's one of the best things about yoga classes. You feel this really a neat connection with others that I don't think most people feel in like a spin class or even walking outside and waving. There's something about yoga where you really get to kind of let your guard down and be vulnerable and listen to your breath and find kind of that moment where you get to relax and to do it with the community and group of people and share those experiences. I think that's just going to be so enlightening and going to make we have a motto of resilience, of kind of overcoming the tough stuff. And to do that with a community is, I think, one of the goals of Love Your Brain for sure.
Well, certainly in the last 2 years, we've all learned a thing or two, hopefully, about resilience. Yes. And I would say that Love Your Brain yoga is going to be good for your mind, body, and spirit. And who doesn't need that, honestly, right?
Who doesn't need that? Oh my gosh, completely. I think. Well, so I'm doing a Love Your Brain yoga series now with a few clients, and I always love to say that you can do yoga and meditation anywhere. You are brushing your teeth and you're having those 2 minutes. Find your attention, focus your mind on your breath. And I've had a few patients who said, Jenny, I wish I knew this during this whole time of COVID, that I could really just help myself relax more, even while I'm eating my morning breakfast. And it's allowed me to really just feel stronger in this time of just, it's a scary time.
It is still a scary time. And I guess anyone who's had, your patients, anyone who's had any kind of issue, whether an injury or something happening with, our brain, our most important organ of our body, it's especially scary. So
absolutely.
You need to get out there and love your brain.
Gotta love your brain. And that's one of the really, I think, big messages of Love Your Brain is, so a little bit of a backstory on kind of how this program started. There was a professional snowboarder named Kevin Pierce, who ironically was in the Olympics at the same time that Shaun White, that snowboarder with the red hair from America, is really sweet, that he was competing. So that was about like 10 years ago. And ironically, Shaun White was just in this Olympics and he just had his last run. So it's just been this kind of big journey. But so way back when, unfortunately, Kevin had a really awful accident. It was on the half pipe. It was just about to go and do his final run of the Olympics. And he had this really terrible accident, just a very traumatic brain injury. He was in a coma. He was in a wheelchair for many, many years and just had this very just extreme journey of going through a brain injury. So fast forward to today, Kevin now has his first child. He is married, he is snowboarding, he has just overcome all these obstacles, and he really healed so incredibly. His journey of recovery was just absolutely amazing. And what Kevin and his family found was through this really tough journey of having a brain injury, that mindfulness and meditation and yoga was something that he felt really was able to help his recovery and heal him. So he is just a component of not only healing your body, but your mind and your soul, especially when you have a brain injury and your brain is so specifically affected that mindfulness and meditation and yoga can just show numbers on how much it can help. So Kevin really, he was so motivated and passionate about this lifestyle that he never realized as a professional athlete on how important it was to get into this meditation world.
Right.
And so he started this program that is teaching healthcare clinicians, teaching yoga teachers, and teaching just everybody about being about learning and incorporating a Love Your Brain yoga community throughout the country. So every state has Love Your Brain little pods, Love Your Brain hospitals, Love Your Brain yoga studios. And it's just showing the world that there's so much inclusivity with yoga, especially for the brain injury population. So
people are going to be very surprised at how, well, everything that you do that's good for your brain is good for your body.
Right. It really is. And it can't get any better than that.
No, really, this will be a beautiful mind body spirit experience. That feels like a tongue twister.
Yeah.
Mind, spirit experience for everyone to really heal themselves mentally and physically and build a community. Create hopefully some social connections. Now, this is open to people that are at least 15 years of age, correct? Okay.
Correct. Yep. And then anybody who's felt personally affected, as well as, socially affected as, a caregiver or a parent or a community member who's known somebody who's had a brain injury.
So if anyone is interested and they would like to know more, so wait, before we're going to forget something very important. So this is 6 sessions. It's going to take place at SCAN. Again, I'll put all the details in there. And it starts March 1st. It's on Wednesdays from 2:00, right? It's about, how long is each class?
Usually each class is about 90 minutes.
Okay.
And that's going to run, I guess it's not 90 minutes of movement. We're doing meditation, yoga, and then we usually end with about like a 25 minute discussion. So the time might be flexible, just depending how long that discussion is. But the longest it would be 90, just so you know.
And this is a free program, correct?
It is. Yep. It's a free program.
So there's no financial barrier for anyone.
No financial, and really should be no physical barriers either.
No, obviously,
everybody at all limits.
So even if you were to come in a wheelchair, you would be more than welcome. Everyone is welcome. There are no barriers. There are no barriers.
And 100%. And myself, so as an OT, but also Mackenzie, who I'm running this course with, she's another occupational therapist at Encompass Health. And we are really trained, especially as healthcare professionals, for the safety of patients. So whether you are in a wheelchair, whether you are getting up and moving, but might need a little bit of assistance when standing, that's one of our jobs. Is we really help patients feel confident and comfortable no matter where they are in their kind of functional mobility world. So.
And to just to the point, SCAN, which is located on the basement level of Monmouth Mall, we are fully accessible. There's an elevator, so don't be making that excuse either. There's no excuse here. This is really
no excuse.
I think it's an amazing opportunity, Jenny, for people to take advantage of something that will help them, and you're going to learn something new. You're going to do something good for yourself. So
absolutely,
just do it. What could be better?
Just do it. And the other really beautiful thing is that once you join the Love Your Brain community, again, it's a free community just of resilience and hope and love. Their website is wonderful. They have a lot of great resources. They have free meditation classes to get your feet a little bit wet, mindfulness exercises. They even have in March will be coming Mindful March, where they'll have Zoom sessions and doing meditation with other members of the community. So it's just a really great thing to be a part of. I myself never heard of it, especially even in OT school and working in a hospital. It was something that I just never was informed about. So I think just spreading the word and joining this community is always just a joy.
So for people who are listening and they want to take advantage of this amazing program, which starts on March 1st, what do they need to do?
Yes. So you can contact SCAN, or you can also contact, myself is actually not the person to directly contact. It's my partner, Mackenzie. So she has an email as well as a phone number that will attach probably to the link of that email blast. So you can directly email us and say, hey, we're interested. Do you mind giving me a phone call and fill me in on anything you're curious about?
All right. You know what I'll even do? I'll put SCAN's phone number across the top. So, for any registration or any further info, or now if somebody wanted to I just thought of this question, if they just weren't sure if it was going to be right for them, could they come in on the first day and just say, all right, let me see what I think?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So especially if this is a free class, we're really not asking much. We would just love for anybody to come and check it out and see what it's about. So don't feel pressured to continue with the 5 other weeks, a total of 6 weeks. Of course, we would love for everybody to stay the 6 weeks and have this strong sense of community, but I am always somebody who's a little bit hesitant in joining new things. So I'm also that person to maybe take one class and check it out. So yes, everybody is welcome. And if you also don't feel comfortable participating in the group and you would just like to sit and observe, by all means, everybody is able to come and just see how they feel, their comfort level.
Well, we know sometimes people take a few weeks to warm up to the group, so that's okay. We get that. We get that. So love your brain yoga. I think one of the best things you can do for yourself, love your brain. It's going to help your mind, body, and spirit. A very healing experience. It's going to start March 1st. Again, we're going to put out all the information. Yes. So Jenny Laliberte from Encompass Health, thank you so much for talking with me this morning.
Oh, thank you for letting me share my love of yoga and getting this program started. It's been a pleasure.
Excellent. Well, remember out there, if it's important to you, it's important to us. I'm Andrea Tarr, and we'll see you next time on Scan FYI. Bye, everyone. Bye, Jenny.